you struggle with low self-esteem and find yourself wondering how it is that many others out there seem to have high self-esteem? And what makes certain people have higher self-esteem than others? Is it that certain people are just naturally born to think more positively about themselves, while others are doomed with negativity? Or is it that life experiences ultimately shape our self-esteem? Well, the truth is that self-esteem is actually impacted by various factors, but is ultimately determined by one thing in the end, and that is our mindset. Now, I'm going to be splitting up this self-esteem discussion into 2 different videos. In this video, I will share with you 6 different factors that can impact self-esteem, and in the second video, I'll discuss how you can utilize your mindset to improve your self-esteem, regardless of whatever factors that may be influencing your self-esteem. So after watching this video, be sure to click on part 2 to learn more. Now, the first factor that can influence self-esteem is genetics, and there is some research indicating this. For instance, one study conducted by researchers at the University of California, Davis found that variations in a gene called COMT were associated with self-esteem. Now, COMT is involved in the breakdown of dopamine, which is a neurotransmitter that plays a role in pleasure and reward. This study found that individuals with a specific variation of the COMT gene that was associated with higher levels of dopamine breakdown tended to have lower levels of self-esteem than individuals with a different variation of the COMT gene. Another study conducted by researchers at the University of Essex in the UK found that genetic factors could explain up to 25% of the variation in self-esteem among individuals. The study looked at a sample of twins and found that identical twins who share 100% of their genes tended to have more similar levels of self-esteem than fraternal twins who only shared 50% of their genes. Nonetheless, while these studies suggest that genetics play a role in self-esteem, it's important to note that genetic factors are only one piece of a large puzzle, and still, more research is needed to fully understand the genetic factors that influence self-esteem. Now, the second factor that can have an impact on self-esteem is upbringing and early childhood relationships. The way a child is raised, the relationships they have with their caregivers, as well as the relationships they have with their peers, can all play a significant role. Individuals who grew up in a nurturing and supportive environment where they received positive feedback, encouragement, praise, and support from their caregivers are more likely to have healthy self-esteem. On the other hand, individuals who grew up in an environment where they were frequently criticized, belittled, invalidated, and neglected by their caregivers are more likely to have low self-esteem. Peer relationships also play a significant role in self-esteem. Those who had positive relationships with their peers growing up and who felt accepted and included are more likely to have healthy self-esteem, while those who were excluded or bullied are more likely to struggle with low self-esteem. The third factor that influences self-esteem is life experiences. Low self-esteem is often associated with negative life experiences such as traumas, abuse, relationship failures, personal failures, accidents, or developing certain health conditions or diseases. These negative life experiences can have a significant impact on the brain's structure and health, which can lead to low self-esteem if not properly addressed and managed. For instance, if an individual has tried and failed many times in a personal endeavor, without proper coping strategies and the right mindset towards failure, their self-esteem will likely take a hit. Now, the fourth factor that can impact self-esteem is social relationships. Just as early relationships with caregivers and peers can play a significant impact, relationships in adulthood also matter. Individuals who have friends or family with low self-esteem or who surround themselves with critical people are more likely to struggle with their self-esteem. Conversely, those who surround themselves by positive and supportive people are more likely to feel good about themselves. After all, we as humans are social beings, so it's inevitable that we're going to be impacted by other people's influences. The fifth factor that can influence self-esteem is cultural or societal expectations, values, and norms. Societal and cultural expectations, values, and norms can influence how individuals perceive themselves and their self-worth. For example, certain beauty standards in Western cultures may promote a certain body type or appearance as desirable, which can create a sense of inadequacy or low self-esteem in individuals who do not meet those standards. Similarly, cultural expectations around achievement and success can also impact self-esteem. For example, in some cultures, high achievement and success in academics, sports, or career fields may be highly valued and celebrated. Now, for individuals who do not meet those expectations, they may experience feelings of inadequacy or low self-esteem. Other cultural and societal factors such as racism, sexism, and other forms of discrimination can also impact self-esteem. Experiences of discrimination or oppression can lead to feelings of worthlessness, particularly in marginalized or underrepresented groups. But with all of that being said, it's important to note that societal and cultural factors can also have positive impacts on self-esteem. For example, in some cultures, collectivism and social support are highly valued, which can contribute to a sense of belongingness and self-worth. Similarly, movements towards body positivity and inclusivity can promote healthier self-esteem and body image. Overall, societal and cultural factors definitely play a significant role in shaping self-esteem for better or for worse. And it's important for us to be aware of these influences and to work towards developing a positive and realistic sense of self-worth that aligns with our own values and beliefs. And lastly, the sixth factor that can influence self-esteem would be personality traits. Certain personality traits like neuroticism, high sensitivity, perfectionism, and dependency are associated with lower self-esteem. In contrast, personality traits such as optimism, resilience, assertiveness, and openness are associated with healthier levels of self-esteem. Now that we've discussed some factors that can impact self-esteem, it's time to talk about the important role of your mindset in all of it. Find out more by clicking on part 2 of this discussion. And if you like the content in this video and want to see more like it, then I invite you to subscribe to my channel. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in part 2.